If you are selling your house in Rutherford County, what are the odds that you will find a buyer within the first 90 days of going on the market? Hey, I'm John Turner. I'm the team lead of the Turner Victory team at Onward Real Estate. We are getting ready to discuss what your odds are and all sorts of different things about the Rutherford County real estate market. This is the Murfreesboro Real Estate Report, where we do discuss Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Vergne, Eagleville, Christiana, Las Casas, Rockville. What else did I leave out? So let's get on into it. What do you need to know about the Rutherford County real estate market? Well, first of all, if you're selling your home, you have a 2 out of 3 chance. Now, this is for existing homes now. We've pulled out the new construction. But if you're selling a home, you have a 2 out of 3 chance of your home going under contract within the first 90 days. Now, this stat holds up across the entire county, but it is slightly different depending on which zip code you're in. So if you're interested in a zip code breakdown, we will get to that here in just a few minutes. The second thing you need to know about the Rutherford County real estate market right now is that almost every home that sells, it actually sells in the first listing. So 91% of them do. You know, we've talked a lot on here about one of the strategies is put your house on the market and shoot for the moon or whatever, and then pull it off and try to put it out there again. Maybe do some touch-up painting, maybe do landscaping, whatever, before you put it out there. But the stats show that 9 out of 10 homes that sell on that first listing. Now, it doesn't mean they didn't have a price reduction or something of that nature, but it does talk about, it really speaks a lot to motivation and to how you're presenting your house and how you're reading the market and what type of guidance you're getting. Now, the third thing you need to know about the Rutherford County real estate market is, and this applies really, I would imagine, across the nation, but it's the mortgage rates. And what people forget is that today's mortgage rate, although it's higher than what it's been all this year, it's still lower than what it was this time last year. This time last year, if we were at this rate, it would have been one of the lower points of the year, but we had such rate momentum back in the end of February and throughout the spring that sometimes it's easy to forget that. So those are things that we're seeing with the market this week. I want to go ahead and jump into our charts. The Turner Victory Team Market Health Score is at a 44 right now for Rutherford County. That means it's a balanced market, but it's leaning towards buyers. And the reason why it's leaning towards buyers is some of the things that we're getting ready to discuss right here. First of all, 1,583 homes on the market. Our inventory levels are still elevated. Now, this is much lower than what it was last week. Now, we'll discuss that here in just a second. We have 3.3 months supply of inventory, and the current mortgage rate, 30-year fixed mortgage, is at 6.66. Not a very nice number, is it? If we look at what's going on here, remember the blue, I remind you every week, is the percent that's new construction. But right now, 1,583 homes on the market, nearly 35% of those are new construction. Out of the homes that came on the market last week, 129 of them did. Almost 50% were new construction. And if you look at over here at the expired and canceled, 148 homes came off the market. I will tell you, a lot of that probably had to do with new construction as well, because it's just kind of the way that the inventory ends. But it is, or the listing time periods end. But it is interesting. We had more homes come off the market, 148 of them, getting delisted versus how many we had that came off the market because they went under contract, which was 111. So that is something we're watching. I think it's a 1-week anomaly, but we'll know here pretty soon in the next couple of weeks. I always pay attention to what's in green here. Anything below 400 or 500,000 is in the green. Also, the 800 to $1 million is in the green. So whenever we start looking at speed of the market and how much inventory we have, those are leaning towards a seller. The yellow is more of a balanced market. Now, I will tell you, if you're a seller in the yellow in one of those price points, it feels like it's a buyer's market. It does, because you're sitting on the market longer than what you would like to. Let's look at our charts right now. We talk about, and I just hit on this about inventory. Our inventory dropped down. Last week it was at 1669. This week, 1583. But if you look, all three of the previous years had this little V too. And what happens is, new construction, they'll put several other homes on the market, and all have an expiration date on their listing agreement, usually at the end of a certain month or whatever. Sometimes it's by quarter, sometimes it's by year end, their fiscal year end, things like that. So it's not unusual to see that dip. I would anticipate our inventory levels jumping up again next week. I may be wrong about that, but I think that's what we're going to see. Month supply, we talked about this. Right now it's 3.3. This time last year, 3.16. So not a huge difference. We are mimicking kind of what we saw last year. So even though in the spring we had more sales, the month supply stayed fairly close to what we were last year. And you could see where that gap just really closed up about halfway through the first half of the year. So basically the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. The trend continues. New listings are down. Again, I think we'll see a jump next week, but that remains to be seen. But for the past 5 or 6 weeks, we definitely have been trailing last year. And also our weekly pendings. For the past 3 weeks, the orange line has been below last year. We had several weeks in a row. As a matter of fact, almost the entire first half of 2026, we were outpacing 2025, except for just 2 or 3 weeks. But we are seeing where the market has slowed a little bit, and that goes back to, I think, a couple of things. One are the mortgage rates I talked about a little bit earlier. And number two, that kind of goes hand in hand with that, is I think a lot of people who had been sitting on the sidelines, we call it pent-up demand. I think that they took advantage of rates that were lower than what they had been. I don't want to call them low rates, but lower than what they had been in the spring and early summer. So they went ahead and that may have accelerated some of the things going on at that point, some of the sales going on. Showings. Talk about this every week too, because I think it's a leading indicator. If you're in the 300,000 to 400,000 range, you are getting showings. You should be getting showings. If you're not, you need to really check out where you're priced, how you're presenting yourself online, because you should be getting some showings. Surprisingly, the 1.5 million has jumped up a little bit here. Almost 1.5 showings in that price point over the past week. I shouldn't say that. That's a 30-day rolling average, by the way, but it indicates how many showings per week. But whenever I talk leading indicators, look how quickly this has dropped down over the past 5-6 weeks. This is the number of showings per week per listing. 2.38 at the height, and right now we're just barely above 1 showing per week. So that does tell me that buyer activity has slowed. Also, we have less new listings coming on, so there is a little bit of a correlation there, but it still is interesting how all that's working out. Did not mean to do that. Let me see if I can't get that out of the way. There we go. I want to look at a couple of things. Let me come back to that here in a second. All right. So we talk about your house. The longer it sits, the less money you get for it. This is a theme we've been talking about. But the interesting thing, over the past 12 months, 30% of the homes that sold went under contract in the first 7 days. Okay, and they got nearly 100% of their asking price. Okay, they're hot, they're a commodity, they were priced right, they were presented right, people wanted it. 24% of the homes went under contract in day 8 to day 30, and they still got a really good price for their house, nearly 98%. So that's telling me that almost 55% of all homes that went under contract in the first 30 days. After that, things slow way down. And you can see not only do they slow down, but also the percentage that you're getting for that house your true original list price changes as well. So keep that in mind if you're looking to sell. If you've been on the market for a while, know that the market's expecting you to make some concessions somewhere. It's amazing how many people just won't be on the market and they think they're sellers, but they're not truly reading the market. So we said we would break some of this down by zip code. Now, 37128, which is West Murfreesboro, the Blackman area, we've had more sales there than any other zip code. Closely followed by 37129, and then I think it's Smyrna after that. But that doesn't tell the whole story. If you look in 37037, which is Christiana, and what we're looking at here is we've pulled out all the new construction. So this is only resale homes, okay? Existing homes, whatever you want to call it. Almost 70% of the homes in Christiana that have gone on the market sold within the first 90 days. Okay? So that's really what this is looking at, is how long did it take? So we're looking at 90 days and what percentage of homes actually went under contract then. 37129, we're seeing it's strong there, nearly 69%. It drops down a little bit in downtown Murfreesboro, but still, 66% is good. We are noticing a trend starting with South Murfreesboro, and where those numbers, your odds of selling within 90 days are less. We're seeing that there in Smyrna, Vergne, and also out Highway 99, New Salem area, 37128. The Rockville, throw that out. We've got it on here, but really that sample size is too small. There's nothing wrong with Rockville except there's just not enough. Like I say, not enough data there. The interesting thing, though, is when we throw in some new construction, the 37127 really kind of drops off. So I know if you're on that side of town and you're looking to sell, you really need to pay attention to what's going on right there. And there's a lot of things that can affect it. If you work in, let's say, Franklin or whatever, you may want to be more on the west side of town versus, the southwest side and, Church Street, Veterans, and all that. But also what affects it is schools as well. And I think in Rutherford County, in Murfreesboro City both, we have great schools. We are some of the tops around, but there are some schools that people, whenever they come to us, they desire more than others. So that may play a part in it too. There's a lot of different things that come into play, but if you're selling, you need to pay attention to this because it really does affect what you can ask for your house and how long it's going to take to market it. So definitely need to be paying attention to that. Let me see if there's anything I've left off. I think that's pretty much it. It's fun breaking down this data. We looked at some different things today than what we normally look at, just because it's stuff I was curious about. I like to use it to help my clients make good decisions, whether they're buying or selling. And hopefully this is helping you too, whether you're another real estate agent that's looking at this or whether you're someone who's thinking about getting into the market. One of the things I'm really proud of with our team is the majority of our team members have been with us for over a decade. I think that says a lot about our team. I think it says a lot about the quality of people and of agents that we have on our team. So if you are interested in you have a real estate need, not only in Rutherford County, but we work the entire Middle Tennessee area, please feel free to reach out to myself or one of our team members. We would love to help you. Again, I am John Turner. I am the team lead of the Turner Victory team at Onward Real Estate, and we bring this Murfreesboro Real Estate report to you every week. We appreciate you subscribing. We appreciate you tuning in. And until next week, we hope you make it a great week. Thank you.